There has been a lot of talk on the forums about making an item tier list. And I had the opinion that it was a fool's errand because there are so many different criteria and so many different items, you basically just hitting your head against the wall. Of course, immediately after I said that, I went around, thought about ways to try to actually make an items tier list because doing impossible things appeals to me. So what I eventually struck on was to break up items into different categories and then do tier lists for those categories, and I'll do them until I get bored of it, so don't necessarily expect this to be a complete series. And it's because there's such a wide range of item utility that if you didn't, you would just have a list with like all the boosters up top and most of the rest of the items in the garbage can, and that wouldn't actually be very useful for anybody. So we're going by category and we're grading on a curve. So our tiers are not going to be A through F, they are going to be based on the category. And today we're running armor because I think it's a fun and easy one. So for armor, my tiers are going to be actually a booster as top tier because generally boosters are better than any sort of armor. So the armor boosters are a tier above anything else. Then the next tier is unironically good. And that is things that you would either want to research towards actively or that are just good in general without a lot of qualifiers. Like you could just say, oh, this is a good item. The next tier down is clutch. And what I mean by clutch is that it's not necessarily universally good, but it's either very, very good in its niche or will come in extremely handy in certain situations. So it is clutch. It will just be very, very winning in certain situations. One down from clutch is boutique, which is the same thing but worse, basically. Boutique items are items that either fill a unique niche or fill a niche but are either kind of overpriced or kind of, that's a rare niche. So, whatever. A tier down from that, we have technically armor. Now, ironically, because these are in all magic paths, things that are technically armor, you might want to make quite a lot. These are all things that are basically outclassed by something else somewhere else on their list, but you may not have access to that other thing at that point, so you might end up making them. And then the last and lowest category is total waste of fucking gems. And these are the things that are like, you will probably not want to forge them ever. They either their niche is so specific that you will almost never end up forging them, or they're just completely outclassed, or they're actively like bad and grief you, or possibly for some examples they just cost so many gems that it's not even worth considering them. So that's the worst tier. And you'll notice when I said grade on a curve, I meant it. Yeah, you notice that even up towards the top of the list, like the second one is unironically good, and then after that you start getting into qualifiers, because even with the good items on this list, you could go the entire game and not make them and be fine, because you don't always need to make armor. But you want to evaluate it, so we're going to start here. So we're going to start at Construction 1 with the trinkets. Black steel plate, bam, actually goes in the unironically good category. Reason being is it's a construction 1 item that gives you Prot 17, and it's actually going to be the reason why a lot of other items are ranked lowly, because it immediately having this, admittedly it is Earth, which is not always the easiest access path, but having this just Prot 17 right off the bat means that a lot of armors are just simply going to be inferior. Also, at Construction 1, it's accessible, so if you need to put it on a god or expand with it, it is fine. It is telling that you could go the entire game and not forge this and be fine, but if you need armor, it's right there, and it's good. Black steel full plate, bam, boutique. Reasoning, you're paying double for not that much of a improvement in prot from the black steel plate. Technically it is better, so you will sometimes want to put it on like high value chassis, but really it's kind of redundant, and it is double the cost. And it has additional like downsides on compared to the black steel plate. Um, in addition to its cost, Illwinter, please, Illwinter, please. Enchanted Ringmail. This goes in clutch, and I know this is weird because this is why isn't this in technically armor? Because this is just a vastly inferior version of the black steel plate. And the reason why is because it is also Construction 1 and it is Astral. So you can forge it with either your pearls or you can alch to it very, very easily. So really any gem type can forge this as long as you have an Astral path. So getting that off on like your god early in the game makes things much, much easier. And so it enables entire builds that wouldn't otherwise be possible. So bam. That's why it's going in clutch. Last, we have the Berserker Belt. The Berserker Belt goes straight into the total waste of gems. I could technically see a reason to forge this, perhaps a niche, but it is such bad armor that the Berserker doesn't really give you anything, and instantly berserking a commander is just mainly a good way to grief yourself. Lesser magic items. Fireplate, we're going ahead and putting that straight into the clutch category, and the reason why it is reasonable armor at a reasonable price that has fire resistance. It also has morale as a nice bonus. You could put this in boutique, but I think it's better than the other ways of getting yourselves fire res in here. Does double duty, pretty good. Robo missile protection, total waste of fucking gems. This should be self-explanatory, but the fact that this is a lower prot than most people's like default armor means that the air shield is totally irrelevant. Sorry. Lightweight scale mail. Yeah. This is technically armor, but that's about the best you can say for it. Mirror armor goes in clutch. This is a very good source of magic resistance, especially if you're stacking it. The armor prot isn't the best, but it's not bad either. This is a rare path, the Glamour Air Cross path, but if you actually have it, it's very good. Shambler skin goes in the unironically good category. That's that's because it gives you water breathing and air breathing, so you can put it on aquatic guys, bring them above land. You can put it on land guys and bring them below water. And it is cheap, and you know, as a bonus, you also get a little pip of prot and a little pip of hit points with it. So, you know, one of the more useful armors. It's a utility item essentially. Direwolf pelt. Technically, this has things on it, so this is between. I'm gonna put this as technically armor, although it's really between that and a total waste of gems. But you're almost never going to be forging this for what it gives you. This is like a desperation thing that you might forge if all you had was nature gems and you really needed some fucking armor. It does have cold resist, so technically I could see putting it on someone, but no. Chthonic Lion Pelt, yeah, technically armor. I mean, this with 18 invulnerability isn't bad, but this used to be a lot better, and it does give head prot. It is cheap, so you know, nothing really against it. But this is just basically most of the time just a worse version of the full plate. These used to be good. Now they're like, okay, yeah, you can forge it, whatever. Ranger's Cloak, waste of gems. I mean, I wish we lived in the world where the stealth de-stealth minigame mattered. We don't. That's all I gotta say about that. Gossamer Gown, I'm putting this in boutique because this technically gives you awe, but the prot is so bad that generally speaking you would rather have like real armor and not awe than awe and bad armor. So technically you could forge it on someone who had very, very high natty prot, but like, why bother? Oh, and while we're here, the bracers of protection. Not in the armor category, but these are armor, and these are in the unironically good category. Nah, let's say clutch. The reason why they're in the clutch category is because they're an armor piece that isn't armor, and therefore just add straight to prot, which is already good. And then also, if you cast Legions of Steel or one of the others, it will add prot to this as well as your main armor. So that's +5 prot with no like stacking penalties. So that's kind of insanely good. However, it's not so insanely good you got to forge it all the time. So I think that's justified. We get to the level 5 boutique. Yeah, okay, if you want 15 fire resistance, this is good, and if you want all that morale, this is good, but mainly it's a worse version of the other plate that's already exists. Copper plate, also boutique. The charge body is interesting, but and it gives you shock resistance. So, I mean, this could go into clutch, but I think it's boutique. Yeah, it could be useful, but whatever. Silver Hauberk, hey, it's the better air shield armor. It's still very expensive, boutique. Bright Mail Halbernion, this is very cheap and it gives you a pip of regeneration. I'm putting it under technically armor though. I don't know what use case for that you would like want to forge this over something else. So, whatever. Enjoy. Technically, it is very low encumbrance. It could have a niche function. Same with the Bright Mail Hauberk. I don't know why you would put both of these in the same fucking research level. You're just splitting hairs over minor differences. Yeah, this is technically armor. It might have a boutique use, but kind of in between those two categories. But yeah, technically armor. No, I'm going to call this one boutique because it does have more re-invig. So if you're looking for that kind of thing, I would rather have the more expensive one that gives you more re-invig and more prot than the one that just doesn't. But they're not total wastes of gems. Armor of Meteoric Iron. Yeah, we're going. I'm going to go with clutch for this one. It's not all that clutch. It's kind of borderline, but it does have very high prot and adds MR. So it does two things you often want on somebody you're like thugging with. So this one is pretty good. I don't think it's like top tier, but I could be wrong about that. Elemental armor, boutique. This has a lot of resistances attached to it, and so it could come in very handy, but it is also very expensive. The Pride got buffed a little bit, I think, from last time, so it is a little bit better. I don't think it's good enough to be clutch, though. It's just something that is like one of those overpriced items that you put like on an SC if you've got a very high value chassis that you really want to protect from a lot of things. Blue Dragon Mail, boutique. If you want a lot of CR, here you go. Cost you 10 gems, whatever. Robe of the Sea, booster. Enough said. Shroud of the Battlesync goes with the unironically good, although obviously it swings around wildly based on your bless. Sometimes the 9 body prot is cripplingly bad, but if you're putting on something without much body prot in the first place, or you've got an overloaded bless, this can be insanely good. You can make counter thugs out of like randos. So I'm a pretty big fan of this item. You can even make builds around it. So this goes into the unironically good category for me. Robe of the Shadows, this is a waste of gems, basically. Like, this is, again, Eolint are not really understanding their own system, because with this bad of a prot, Ethereal is not that great of a protective layer. Technically, you could, I could see a very, very niche use of this, but this is, like, worse than even Boutique, I would say. Chainmail Harbor is the unironically good. Stealth 20 rather than stealth plus something, if you don't know, means that you actually gain stealth from it. So this enables all sorts of plays that you wouldn't otherwise have. Putting it in Glamour is like Boo Hiss. It does make it harder to access, but still, this is like a key item in many instances. Hey, it's the Green Dragon Scale Mail. Hey, it's the same as the other Dragon Scale Mails. Put that in Boutique. Chainmail of Displacement. We're putting it in Boutique as well. It's borderline. The Displacement is a good effect. And it is reasonably good armor, but it is 10 glamour gems, so it's kind of like you do it if you have something that's like really, really needs it. Oh, this one's a booster. I forgot all the things that this adds to you, but it's a booster, and it also comes with a bunch of shit on, on it. So this so actually, just looking at it again, yeah, this is a booster, and it gives you a bunch of shit. So like, pretty much better than anything else. Lol. Hey, white dragon scale melt, same as other dragon scale melt. Boutique. A black dragon scale melt, same as other dragon scale melt boutique, but I will note that acid resistance, this is one of the very few things that grants acid resistance, so if you need it, like, here's where it is. The other things, like, there's a lot of things that grant those other resistances, but not a lot that grants acid resistance, so there you go. Armor of Twisting Thorns, booster. Also just, this item is nutty. It's a blood booster and a nature booster, and it occupies the body slot. It does have a downside that it's cursed, but, like, it's so good. You want this as a blood nation, you want this as a nature nation. If you have that cross path, you want it. And as a bonus, it's not even like terrible armor. It gives you poison barbs, some PR. Like, put it on your Foul Vapors caster. You're not going to regret it. Okay. Very powerful. Armor of Knights used to be like the gold standard of armor. I'm gonna move this down uh, from unironically good to clutch. It actually is good armor. It's not as good as it used to be, but it's good enough. Obviously, this is strictly superior to the Black Steel Plate at the point you get it, but you get it so much later than I'm actually putting it in a lower tier, which is, hey, another reason why these tier lists don't make much sense. But that's alright. Marble armor. Hey, look, it's it's the poor man's helmet of the what is it? Helmet of the mountains that gives you iron skin. Helmet of the overpriced SC. This is reasonable armor and then gives you stone skin. But if you're at Earth, you can probably already cast stone skin, so it's a very boutique item. Let's put it like that way. Stymphalian Wings, also boutique. This is a mega loaded item that gives you a bunch of good offensive abilities on a super combatant as well as defenses, but because it's got such a high cost, there's no reason to put it anywhere other than in the boutique section. Like, yes, this can like single-handedly turn like a pointless blob of fat into a terrifying super combatant beast, but like, good Christ, it's 25 Earth Gems. You could find a better use of those. Weightless Scale Melt, technically armor. Jeez, like, come on. You're putting this in 7, like, since I believe it is technically better than the other weightless mail, and you might have to forge somebody some armor with your air gems at some point in time. It's not totally a waste of gems, but this is about the like bottom of the barrel for things that are like technically armor. Like, come on, dude. This is Construction 7. Rainbow armor is clutch. It is not great armor, but it is armor, and the hit points do help a little bit. It's got Reinvig on it, only a little bit of encumbrance, and it's got magic resist on it, so as like a mage armor kind of thing, this is one of the better options. Robe of the Magi. Hey, look, it's a booster. Enough said. Like, this is one of the boosters that I've almost never seen forged because I've never seen people with this particular combo up that high. I'm sure someone has done it, and I'm sure it's been great. And it like magic +1 means that it's as good as the Ring of Wizardry, but like, holy moly. Robe of Invulnerability. Hey, look, it's a waste of gem. I have to keep saying this, but this is Owner not understanding their own game. You could be tempted to put this into boutique because there are technically thing times that you might forge it, but the fact that you have low prot in exchange for invulnerability, which you have death, you can cast anyway. It's just not worth it. As soon as you get hit with a magic weapon, you go poof. And even if you're fighting mundane weapons, like, this is not really much better than cheaper armors, and it costs death gems. Though I guess that's a double-edged sword, since death doesn't really get a lot of armors otherwise. Rhyme Hallberg, boutique. you're paying too much for ice armor and chill, but you are getting ice armor and chill. So that's, cold 5, and all of a sudden this thing has a prot of 21, which is pretty nice. You also get CR off of it. Overall, it's overpriced for any of its individual things, but if you can find a way to make it work together, then great for you. Jade Armor, boutique again. Reasonable armor that gives you quickness. I don't think quickness is all that valuable on like an SC, and you can just fluff it anyway. But hey, if you really want it, it's there. Bone armor. I'm gonna actually say boutique. This could be clutch or boutique, as it gives you soul vortex as well as invulnerability. So that's actually like a good combo. It provides offense and defense in one, but it costs a fuckload of gems. So unless you've got like the perfect chassis to use it on, it's not like it's never going to be something you just have forge and have lying around your lab. You're always going to use it because you've got something big that you want to put it on. It's the definition of boutique. I don't know why I even said anything about that. Hydra skin armor, boutique. Yeah, you might consider this clutch because it's got all that regen on it, but regen on top of body prop, but the prop isn't really all that good. So as far as this goes, this is just a boutique way of adding some regen and armor to guys who are already big anyway. And by this point in the game, your nature gems are going to be getting scarce, so the people who can reasonably use it aren't that many. Cloak of invisibility, hey, it adds stealth. I'm going to put this as the at clutch because this is just the Shademail Habernion but ores. However, if you need stealth, you need stealth. So the fact that this is a dogshit armor doesn't really matter. You can just forge it with just glamour and give it stealth. It's worse than the Shademail because it's a later level and because it requires more gems. But hey, that's the price you pay for stealth. Bloodstone armor. Hey, look, it's the better Hydra skin armor. This is still boutique, although this is better. This is more the type of armor you want if you're going to put armor on a regenerating chassis. It also gives you a nice hit point bonus, so you could conceivably put this on like a paladin or something. However, it is expensive, and so it still goes in the boutique category. Hey, look, we're already to artifacts, and there's not that many armors. Great. Acolex armor. Hey, it's a total waste of gems. That's a little unfair, as this is actually technically a superior piece of armor with morale, magic resistance, and a shitload of prot, but if you're at construction 9 and you're spending 25 gems, you want something that's going to like win you the game and not be a marginal improvement, and this is just a marginal improvement. So total waste of gems. Might go into technically armor, but we'll say it's technically armor. Monolith armor, yeah, technically armor. I mean, you could put these things into boutique, but I'm not going to really talk myself up into making them better because, like, this thing has downsides, and it's an artifact, and it's construct, and it's 25 gems. So it's like these are extremely boutique pieces. Like, you only get them at artifact level, and they're not even on your like top of the list of the artifacts. Not even the top of the list of the artifact armor. Armor of the Dawn. I would call this actually boutique because this is something you might actually want when you're going for artifacts, because it gives you really good prot and awe and some other shit on top of it. So it's pretty well loaded, but it is expensive. So you really only want to. Really, you're forging this like after you forged your critical artifacts as something you give to an expensive thing that's better than the other boutique armors. But having to get to artifact to just get a better boutique armor is like, yeah, it's still in boutique. Robe of Cadius the Druid. This is also boutique because of its high cost and because it's up here, but it does give you water breathing and a shitload of resistances, so it is a very good, like, utility mage sort of thing. It still isn't the best thing over here. Fenris's Pelt. Okay, this is fake. Technically, this will go in the unironically good, but It's a lie because this thing is not good armor. It's good because it casts Howl at the start of every battle. However, this is one of the artifacts that you might like actually want to go up the artifact tree for, and like instant Howl before the battle starts is insane. Uh, Although you have to figure out a way to not have your guy die with his instant berserk, but that should be all right. Armor of Virtue. I would call this boutique. Returning on damage is very interesting. It makes it good for like really like massive cheeses, but it's only good for that thing. So I could up this to clutch. I think because you can abuse it in that way, but that's about all I'll say for it. Flesh Ward. Now, what did this fucking thing do? Okay, this is technically a booster. It gives blood magic. I'm not going to talk about it. I don't remember what all it did. Who cares? Mammal skins. All right, I am going. This is another one that's technic. This is another booster. So, this technically gives you a bunch of shit. So you might actually want to use it, even if it's not just as a booster. But the main thing is it is an Earth booster that takes an unusual slot. So I'm going to leave it at that. And that is your armor tier list. Goodbye.